Okay.
All right. Well, welcome all students and families to our Saddlebred open house. We have all 3 grade levels coming together tonight just for a little meet and greet. And, you know, we wish we were doing this in person, but I think that this will still be valuable. So I'm just going to, these are the things that we're going to talk about tonight. And at the end, we have some time left for questions. So let's just go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Allison French, and I teach STEM for 7th and 8th grade. And I'm also one of the core coordinators with Erica Stevenson.
Yes, I can go next. I'm Erica Stevenson. I am with our 6th graders. I teach math, science, and STEM. And I'm our team leader, and I'm also the co-coordinator with Miss French.
I'm Miss Ridgway, and I am the other half of the 6th grade team for Saddlebreds. I teach language arts, writing, and social studies.
Hello, I'm Mr. Penrose. I teach science for the 7th and 8th graders.
I'm Jason Ross. I teach 7th and 8th grade social studies.
And I'm Lauren Hill. I teach 7th and 8th grade language arts.
I'm Megan Vogel. I teach 7th and 8th grade math.
Hello, I'm Ben Drake. I teach visual arts and graphic design.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Sprinkle. I am the exploratory STEM teacher.
Thanks. Up next, we're going to provide an overview of what Title I is.
All right, so, whoa. Leestown is a Title I school, and so what that means is we get a federal grant from the U.S. because of our student population. It's a federal formula grant, and it's the largest federal grant for Fayette County Public Schools. What happens is the government provides funding for school districts, and the school districts identify schools that are eligible to receive the funds. So every Fayette County school is not a Title I school. Title I schools work to identify students who need help in education. We set goals for improvement for not just the students, but also the school as a whole. We measure student progress. We develop programs to add to regular classroom instruction, and we try to get parents as involved as we can in all aspects of our school. There's 2 types of Title I programs, school-wide. So schools with 40% of or more of their kids with low-income families can develop school-wide Title I programs to serve all students. So this is kind of where we qualify. As Leestown, we have more than 40% of our families that are low income. And then there's also targeted assistance programs. Schools with 35 to 39% low income, they have targeted assistance programs. Yes. As a parent, you're part of the team. So when you got your first day packets, you had a parent school compact to fill out, and it basically just states the roles and goals of every person involved in the Title I process, I guess, I don't know. And then there's the family parent engagement policy. So we're trying to get parents and families engaged in our school activities. Our school's Title I for this year pays for 5 additional teachers. It also pays for professional development. We also get programs like Reading Plus and Reflex Math. Our school is a Title I school-wide program which focuses on student achievement in all areas. So like I said earlier, we're that first category based on our whole student population. And our school needs you, we need you to learn about our Title I program. So that's kind of why we're sharing about that. Coming to school events like you are now, visiting our classrooms, volunteering for help. That's a little interesting right now with restrictions, but having you join parent organizations like our PTSA, attending conferences, and keeping teachers informed of events that might affect your child's work or behavior.
This is just the Leestown way, which you all probably already know. Live responsibly, make good choices, and show respect to others. It's really important because we want our chargers to feel safe and happy and valued at school. And we want everyone to be able to focus on learning. And here's our respect acronym. All the kids have learned this. They could probably tell you it. And we are actually getting ready to have Leestown Way next week. 6th grade has it on Wednesdays. 7th and 8th grade on our team will be having Leestown Way on Friday. So you could ask your students about it. This just gives you an overview of the different sessions that the kids will have. This year, we're not really able to have the kids intermix. We have to keep them in their classes just for contact tracing. So it'll be just look a little bit different. But that's it for Title I. And our first Title I night is coming up. It's September 16th, and it's a career night. It will also be virtual. So it really helps our school. If you can watch that, it'll be on our YouTube channel, Leestown Way. And you'll hear more about that advertised probably in the coming weeks. Okay.
Isn't it a live stream, Miss French?
It will be a pre-recorded video, not a live stream. So next we're going to talk about team expectations. We sent this home to all of you with a digital signature sheet. The reason that we did these expectations is because last year was very different than a typical school year. And so we kind of had different expectations, you know, a lot of grace and patience last year. But this year we just wanted to make sure that everybody was clear on what school would look like when we were back in person full time on pre-eng. Okay.
So Miss French, is this the one you wanted me to share? Right.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the 7th and 8th grade expectation sheet that went out to parents, and I'll explain how 6th grade is just somewhat like slightly different. So for communication, all of our team and school communication is sent through Infinite Campus. We send out messenger messages through Infinite Campus so that we can send it out to whole groups at a time. So we want to make sure that we have your email address that you want things to have that correct. And if there's more than one person in the household, or there's like split custody or things like that, and we need to send that to both parents, then we just need to make sure those addresses are correct. There is a link in this, if you can go back and find yours, to click on the parent portal. You can also get to the parent portal through the school webpage and check and see if that information is correct. And then parents will send out regular reports about what is missing for your student, but we also encourage the students to look every morning at breakfast time at their Infinite Campus to see if they have anything missing. Ms. French sends out weekly emails for the 7th and 8th grade, and Ms. Stevenson sends out a weekly update email for the 6th grade. And then of course, students should also not just check their email and Infinite Campus, but also their Canvas inbox, because that's where they can see any feedback that we have given them on assignments. One thing that kind of is part of the learning curve with using Canvas and IC is that Infinite Campus is where the actual grade is going. So if you have a question about a grade, Canvas is not really the place to look for a grade. Infinite Campus is where the actual grade is, although you may see some grades in Canvas. And then Mr. Gibson sends out on Sunday afternoons a weekly parent newsletter, and that link is there. I don't know that I need to go over the materials for class, do I, Ms. French, since we're—
No, I think Ms. Hill was gonna talk about talking points and remind, just to add that in.
Okay.
I think.
Do you want to do that here, Ms. Hill, or you want me to finish this page and let you talk in a moment?
I can do it right now if you want.
Sure.
Because there's we have this great opportunity to cultivate lots of ways for us to talk with each other, and any and all of them are fine for any kind of communication. We just want to make it as easy for you to talk to us and in a two-way conversation, right? And so Infinite Campus has been around the longest, and that's where you're going to get like missing assignments and big group emails that are probably longer and more complicated. But you may have noticed if you're in 7th or 8th grade that you've gotten two other types of communication from me and probably others via a program called Talking Points. And part of what is so amazing about Talking Points is that it will translate into other languages and will translate your response. The school has purchased Talking Points for our whole building, and it's linked to Infinite Campus. And if you say that your home language is, say, Russian, which is indeed the case for one of our students, your Talking Points messages will come in Russian. So if you're not happy with the language you're getting these messages in, you just need to let the school know that your home language is different from what it is originally identified. But the wonder of Talking Points isn't just the language, it's that it comes as a text message. So Talking Points are great for things that either need immediate attention or are just really quick. You know, hey, we're wondering where your kid is this week, we've missed them. Or would you mind telling your student that they need to turn in this assignment, it's due tomorrow. Quick little notes to parents. One of the ways that we're trying to cultivate some responsibility for those things in our students is also creating a Remind network. And Remind is also a text message app, although you can get messages via email if you don't have a cell phone. And this is intended to go to our students. So a message I might send via Remind might be like, hey, remember your independent book tomorrow, just, you know, to let them know that this is something that's important and I don't want them to forget it. We want those messages going to students so they can take responsibility for the things that they might want to remember. It's also great to ask questions. I had a student text me via Remind last night. She had a question about the homework and I answered her right away, whereas an email I might not get until the next day during school. So there's four main modes of communication. Infinite Campus for our formal weekly emails, also grade related notes. Canvas communication, which is often around assignments in our Canvas inbox, and then Talking Points, which has the added benefit of being translatable, which will come to your text messaging phone number that is on Infinite Campus. We can't add student cell phones to Talking Points. So we've added this fourth component, which is the Remind app. And that's great for student-teacher conversations. Parents are welcome to join class reminds. We are not trying to hide anything from you. And I know for me, my daughter, when she was in middle school, I wanted all the information I could get. And all of the messages via Remind are kept a record of. So it's just one more way for us to communicate with kids. And sometimes it's about school and sometimes it's about a struggle they're having in a class or other types of conversations. And we just really want to keep that door open all the time. So thank you guys for that. And that's communication.
I guess if you want to talk about homework and grades, I think that's probably something that is important.
Right. Okay. So with homework, I'm going to focus on the 7th and 8th grade here first. Some of the 7th and 8th graders are taking some of the high school courses like Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, English 1. And so those classes are going to have a little more homework than some of the other classes they would take in the pre-eng program. They would have about 15 to 20 minutes of homework each night. And in the English 1, they are expected to read every night. They will get to start with the math homework in class if they need any assistance. Then in any other courses, like the general EL ELA 7 and 8, they'll be expected to read every night. The science, social studies, and STEM classes may not have homework all the time, but they may have incomplete classwork that they have to finish at home, or if they have makeup work that they have to complete if they've been absent. And 6th grade is going to be pretty similar to that, except we don't have the high school courses. So expect math homework almost every day, right, Ms. Stevenson? And then they should be reading every day for ELA, independent reading. And then from time to time, they'll have something they haven't finished in class or an assignment that I give them that they're working on their own. I'm doing some Khan Academy for some grammar that they sometimes have class time to work on and sometimes they may not. So that might be something they work on at home. As far as grades go, that's our next section there. Our grading scale has changed from what it was in the past. So it's now on a 10-point grading scale. So a 90 is now an A. And we still, as we have in the past, we split our grades into 2 halves. We have half of 50% of it is summative, which means like tests, projects, quizzes, things like that, the bigger point items. And then the other half is formative. That would be like daily classwork, IXLs or Khan Academy homework. So that's how those are divided up. And in all of their courses, students will have an opportunity to redo most assignments that are turned in on time to show mastery. If they are not turned in by the due date, they will be marked as missing an Infinite Campus. So that will average that in as a 0 in their grade. And teachers will accept late assignments. In the 7th and 8th grades, the teachers will take the late assignments for up to 2 weeks after the due date, but after 2 weeks, they will no longer accept them. And if they turn it in within the 2 weeks, then they will have a 10-point penalty, 10% point or 10% penalty on that. In 6th grade, we are not doing the grade penalty. We're trying to ease our babies coming from elementary school into middle school. So we won't take any points off, but we will not take the assignment in 6th grade after the end of that unit. So for instance, if they're in unit 1 in math, they have until the unit test in math to get those assignments prior to that test in. And after that, Ms. Stevenson would no longer take them. Same with social studies and ELA and science. Now for the high school courses, there's a little bit different structure there. To earn the high school credit for those, they do have to have an A or a B in the course to get high school credit for the algebra, the geometry, and the English 1. Those courses that are high school credit courses will have final exams. We don't give final exams in any of the other classes, but those will have final exams because they have to be at a high school level, and that's an expectation for those kids. And then English 1 has a slightly different weight of the grade structure. It's 70% summative and 30% formative. So it's much bigger weight on those summative, like tests and projects, bigger things. Okay. Then as far as that next category, Ms. French, do you mind moving that a little up?
Sure.
Thank you. Then as far as our health and safety for our students, of course, you can see what the district health and safety procedures are for the year. Students that do have to quarantine, I know we have had some students already have to quarantine, but those students should continue to do their work in Canvas because the teachers are posting everything in Canvas. So they can check that on a daily basis. We all have some sort of an agenda that we post so they know what's being done each day. Quarantine students will not have remote classes that they're expected to Zoom in for, but they will have access to the assignments. And if you have questions about how to get into the Canvas phone app, there's a link there with the tutorial on it for you. You can also get Infinite Campus in an app on your phone. I will say about the IC phone app, I've noticed in the past that phone app does not update grades as frequently as the one used on a computer. So I don't know if any of the rest of you have noticed that, but anyway.
Another comment about
yeah.
joining as a parent observer. We've had some parents confused because, especially for 6th graders, because they're new to Canvas, but you're not looking for Fayette County. When you're looking for the app, you're looking for FCPS, and it says KY in parentheses because we've had some people like, I can't get my kid in. So FCPS is like the district you want, not Fayette County.
You can also just ask your student to open their Chromebook up to their Canvas, and you can look at it from their end and see it has a to-do list. It has a calendar. It shows feedback they've received from teachers. It shows they're missing assignments. So it's a pretty helpful tool.
Okay.
All right, I'll turn it back over to Ms. French.
So the next bit of our program, of our open house is about high school special programs. For 8th graders applying to high schools, that window is open and closes October 7th. But we also want our 7th graders, and then also I think the 6th graders, to know what's happening in that world and to be prepared to start thinking about it sooner, because oftentimes you don't think about it till you start the year in 8th grade and then it becomes really overwhelming. So I'm not going to do a detailed overview of all the programs tonight, but I am going to be doing that for students during the Leestown Way next Friday. The 7th and 8th graders will both get that. And also at the careers night on September 16th, that will be a portion of our careers night as well. What I am going to show you here is the website where you should go to access the application. And it's not super easy to find. I'm gonna also just put this in the chat for you.
I did it.
Oh, you did it already?
Yeah, I
Thank
did.
you. I appreciate that. So when you go to the site, this isn't even a full list of the programs. You want to go over to the online application. When you get to this screen, you have to have an account created in order to log in.
Which,
So-
if they're already in a program, I feel like most of them should already have those accounts, right?
Yeah, just because you've already applied. But then you can click on view programs, and this is the full list. And so this is the best place to go to see in a chart form what all programs are offered. I will, when I present to all of our 8th graders, I will go over every high school program out there, and we will encourage our kids to apply to as many as interest them, because then whenever the acceptances occur, they can maybe have their choice. There's 3 different kinds. There's specialized academic programs, and there's magnet programs, and then there's gifted and talented programs. There's also Locust Trace and the technical schools, and those Locust Trace and the technical schools, you can actually attend a high school, a different high school. So say you went to Lafayette or Bryan Station or Dunbar, and then you can also be enrolled in one of the technical schools or Locust Trace and earn different certifications. So those are wonderful opportunities, and too often 8th graders don't get to hear about those. So we're going to make sure they know about them. And just to add a little tidbit for the Locust Trace, we actually this year have a year-long agri-science course taught by Ms. Myers, and students that are interested in Locust Trace should be in that class. So if you are a 6th or 7th grader and you start to kind of look around in this after Leestown Way and you are interested in Locust Trace, you're going to want to talk to Ms. Myers and make sure that you get put in her year-long course. You can earn a high school credit if you get an A or B, just like the math and language arts class, English 1 class. So that's a great opportunity. Did anybody have any questions while I'm on this screen? Anybody in the chat say anything? Or okay. So just look for links to more detailed resources next week in my email. I'll send that out after the kids get the presentation. Up next is field trips. I'm just going to really quickly give you an overview of the field trips that we have planned. We're really excited that we get to go on field trips this year. If your student, or you've been reading in my email, if your student has asked you for the pre-engineering fee, the $25, we are taking that fee and applying that towards field trips to help cover transportation costs, because that's really expensive. Our first field trip, this one has not been approved. It will be, hopefully, crossing fingers, approved at the next site-based meeting, is to take our 8th graders to Asbury University to the challenge course. Several of the teachers here, we've been multiple times. It's fantastic. They get to be outside the whole time, which is great. We take box lunches, and they do some low team building and small group challenges. And then they also get to do the high ropes, where they climb up and do the swing, and they do all the climbing and they do the big swing, and it's really fun. The next field trip that has already been approved and is happening, I will be sending home permission slips soon, sooner than later, is for the 6th and 7th grade. And so their fall trip is going to be to Mammoth Cave, and that's October 19th. And so just be looking for those permission slips to come home soon. We did also have approved a team field trip, a big, long overnight trip to St. Louis for all 3 grade levels. For anyone that's interested, we will, have a meeting fairly soon. That's probably going to happen mid-September or late September. We'll have an informational meeting. It's likely going to be on Zoom, where we can have someone from Freedom Tours explain all of the details about the trip, where we'll break down the cost. And there's an online payment program so you can pay all year. And I'm definitely going to be asking some parents to help with some fundraising efforts, because that can get overwhelming for teachers. And while we can help, we would really love ideas. I feel like lots of parents have all of the fundraising ideas. At the end of 8th grade, our 8th grade always goes on a trip together as a whole grade. And so our whole 8th grade will go to Malibu Jacks. And I say the last day of school, but it might be the second to last or third to last day of school. But that is in the works for sure. And we're going to make sure they get to do that this year. Still in the planning process, we have 2 other trips that are still in the planning process. One, we're thinking about maybe going to Newton's Attic with 6th grade, maybe some other trips for 6th grade. And then the 8th grade and the English 1 class all have a Holocaust unit. And so Miss Hill was hoping to take them. We've got this start in the works, planning to take them to the Holocaust Museum that's in Cincinnati. And so that would be a great field trip connected with the curriculum. I believe that is the end of our slideshow. That is all of our stuff. So we can actually have some questions if we want, and I'll stop sharing my screen, and if anybody wants to chat, we can chat.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate that the field trips are educationally based and not things that we would typically maybe be doing with our kids at home. I really appreciate that. And I know how much work it goes into choosing field trips. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. We just know that our kids haven't been anywhere. Our 8th graders have not been on a field trip. And so I really wanted to do something special for them and get them out and, interacting in the community. So. And just so you all know, you do not have to stay. It's supposed to be like an open door, open house. So if you feel like you don't have any questions, you are free to go, but we're going to stay here and answer, all your questions if you have any.
What was the date of the St. Louis trip?
April 7th through the 9th. It's after spring break. So it's like we come back to school and go for a week, and then you have the trip.
Great, thank you.
Do you all know when information about like clubs and activities will be shared with the students?
We actually just got an email this afternoon, and I think they're going to be posting it on the website by next Friday. It might be might be after Labor Day. It might be that's the 6th or 7th, I think, that they're going to post it. At this time, I don't think any clubs have started meeting. Mr. Drake has had done a virtual art club, and I think he was going to continue that, right?
Yeah, we last I talked to Mr. Gibson, no in-person clubs right now. So it will look different for every club. I know the art club, I send out like a newsletter once a week with some fun activities and things. But some clubs might be meeting over Zoom.
I think that auditions for the drama production are Tuesday, because Mr. Briggs has been talking about that on the announcements and had flyers out. That's the only one I know of that's starting.
Thank you.
I have a question about tutoring. If my child needs it, is that offered at Leestown?
We have ESS, but isn't that based on MTSS?
Yeah, so typically in years past, I've stayed after school like one day of the week, just for kids who needed that. But now that my husband and I are both back in the office, we need somebody to pick up our kids. So like I could stay till 5. Some days, as long as you could pick your kid up right at 5. I don't know what day of the week I would do that, but we could have like I could stay one day a week if they needed some extra time for math stuff. Usually it's math that most kids need a little bit of extra time with. But I mean, if we needed to have something where some of us could stay a little bit later, not everybody's available for that, but I could make that happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that the club information would, we have a spot on our website for clubs, but it says 2019. But I would assume that the information would be updated on the website, and then the club information would also, when there's new clubs starting, that would come out through the newsletter too.
It should also be on the morning announcements for the students to hear.
Yeah. And you can go back and rewatch all of the morning news on the Leestown Way. If anybody need, I can put that in the link in the chat if anybody needs that.
What link you do in the newsletter or the morning show?
Morning show. You can do the newsletter if you want. I don't know that one.
Okay.
I don't think I remember. Is it capital P, capital N, or?
Yeah, Leestown News.
Oh, Leestown News. I was thinking parent news. I don't know why I was thinking parent news.
I think Leestown News is the parent newsletter. I'm like 95% sure. I can double check it. Yeah, it says Leestown Highlights, so that's the parent news.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
Just a quick question about what's the best method of communication with any of the teachers for a student? Is it email, remind app, or?
Yes. Email is always a dependable standby thing. I think we all get email on our phone. But really the answer to that is what's easiest for you. And if it's to text us via talking points, like, do it. We will answer, anything we receive.
I want you to know that if a student is in Canvas and they use the Canvas messenger to message us, some teachers don't have that connected to their email, so they might not get it till they log back into Canvas the next day. So using Outlook email is probably better for just, hey, I need to email my teacher, not to be inside Canvas, but to be just on your email. And I'm sorry for whoever I interrupted. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I think the parent was asking about how the student can best communicate with the teacher. So talking points wouldn't be for a student.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, email.
Email.
Yeah, email. Lauren, are you the only one that has Remind? Does anybody else have Remind?
I really do think it's just me, and
Yeah.
part of that is just it's been a really great part of my class the last few years, and I've come to depend on it and enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I think it might just be me.
That's okay. So email is probably the best way for most of us. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Make sure you draw a picture on there, on that letter.
Yes. All right.
Well, I think we're gonna leave our Zoom open until 7 in case any more parents come. But we don't have any new information. So. I'm sorry, there's a gnat that keeps flying in front of my computer. And I'm like.
Ms. French, I have a quick question about, you mentioned that the kids, my son is in 7th grade in the Saddlebreds, and
Yes.
he, is there any other resources that we can check about when they are choosing the high school option and for the specialized programs, and then the other option that you mentioned for locust trace?
Yes. So next Friday, I'm going to do a really in-depth presentation for them. And then I'm going to give them a link to this resource, and I'm going to send you the link too, so that you both have it. And then you could look through that, and it has every single program. It has all the highlights. It has how to apply. And that should help you as well. And then hopefully in the spring, we'll revisit this with 7th grade as well, and then help them kind of start thinking about, well, when school starts, I'm going to have to apply.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
In case you didn't see, Mr. Drake put a message about those of you interested in SCAPA or Station Arts. You should speak with him since he's our art teacher.
Carla, do you remember the name of the play that they're doing auditions for? I can't remember.
I can't
like a
remember. They
collection
said
of
it on the
plays.
announcements this morning. I don't remember.
Check, please. Check, please. And it's a
Check,
series
please.
of short plays.
Okay.
And they need more male actors.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I was just curious. I know the lockers aren't open yet, but I'm just concerned because my daughter's kind of petite and her 30-pound backpack is, heavy on the shoulders. So I was just curious if there were anything in the works for hauling around heavy backpacks all day.
I'm not sure. I know that they're going to work on trying to get our team some lockers for those that are really wanting them. I know she has a trumpet that she's carrying around. She can take that in the morning straight to the band room and like leave it there so she doesn't have to lug it around all day.
But her backpack is enormous.
Yeah. The Chromebook and then the notebooks.
She doesn't have to take that to electives though. Like she could leave that in, if she's a 6th grader, she could leave that in your room, right? And then just
depending on what she needs. Yeah, like if she needs like just her Chromebook and her band music, then she could, I don't mind. So she doesn't have to, because they spend 3 of their classes or 2 of their classes in one of our rooms, so we could work that out.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Yeah, she's just tiny, and I know those bags start to hurt.
Yeah, if she's just smart and selective about what she carries with her too, because some of them carry a little bit more than they need to be carrying. They really don't need a whole lot, which we try to like minimize what they needed to carry. Like they don't need even anything at all for science, just their Chromebook. So trying to get extra stuff out of there that they won't need.
Yeah, we just did that with my son. He just started 6th grade and we had to go through and take things out because it was so big.
For instance, like I know we didn't really go to school 5th grade, but 4th grade, they had a big trapper keeper thing. That they had all different subjects of folders and what have you. So I know I know it's normal for junior high to have a 3-ring binder and a spiral notebook and a folder and stuff like that. But yeah, so just curious about combining things.
Yeah, if she can combine stuff, that's fine. I'm a little bit picky about the math binders just for math, but they can stick a folder in there or whatever needs to happen.
Okay, thank you.
With the social studies and language arts notebooks, if she wants to just leave those at home and just have a folder in her backpack that she could stick things in and put them in there at home, that would be okay with me. if that'll save her a little bit of space and weight.
Okay. Yeah, I think ordering binders or the bigger, maybe causing a little heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I know some kids carry around multiple library books too, so maybe just limit it to one per day.
They like the big ones too. They have my carrier around big, thick books, 3 of them.
I'm not sure. You'll have to check.
Hi, where could I find a link to the recording of this meeting? I missed the first 10 minutes.
I just asked Mr. Gibson if we were going to put them on the Leestown Way. I'm assuming that we will, and if that's the case, I'll put it on there as soon as we're done. It'll probably only take me about 10 minutes for it to render. So were you in here when I put the link to the Leestown Way up, or did you need that, the YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'll need that, please.
Okay. I'll put it in here again.
Thank you.
And Allison, I wonder if it'll go to your cloud or mine since I clicked record. So we'll find it though, and we'll get it posted when we can.
Ooh, I bet, yeah, you're probably right. That's okay. All you have to do is download it and share it with me, and I'll take care of the rest.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping we can get them at least a few lockers per grade level, maybe like 10-ish. And have those in that back hallway where the electives are, because every single one of our kids goes to electives. So I feel like that would be convenient to have their lockers back in the electives.
I know some of the other teams aren't using lockers either. Their kids are also carrying backpacks. It's not just our.
Well, I don't think he's assigned anybody lockers at all yet, but I told him we had some families that were kind of wanting to have them.
Who else has been asked to buy cookie dough and candy?
They came directly from getting the papers in their hands and came straight to me.
Erica, you need to get the colored cookie dough. The colored.
I thought about it.
Okay, so I get that every year, and then the kids make amazing Christmas cookies. I just keep it in the freezer until Christmas, and then it rolls out, and you don't even have to put flour on it. It's like awesome.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
I'll have to buy it from another kid.
Christmas trees, and you don't have to like color icing and all that. It's really fun.
Nice. I'll have to do that. I'll have to buy from someone else. I already bought some like sausage and cheese from one kid.
He said we are going to put it on YouTube.
Okay.
Hi, I have a quick question about Canvas for the sixth graders.
Yeah.
Are the dates in there, like the due dates, are those kind of always up to date, or should I be holding my child accountable if I look in there and I see like stuff that isn't done, like this is supposed to be done, or is that just maybe like when they were put in there? I just wanted to make sure I wasn't holding them to like a standard or anything like that that wasn't necessarily always true.
I'll speak on my end, Mrs. Matson. For the most part, they should be correct. Sometimes I'll put a due date in on what I anticipate we should be able to have it due by, and then when we get going with it, I may end up having to change that and push it back. But I always let the students know, like I may not get it changed in Canvas right away, but I tell the students, hey, I'm going to give you until this date on this. That happens sometimes, but not on every case. I don't know about Ms. Stevenson. I'll let her speak.
I don't really have any due dates in Canvas. We're doing about one lesson in math and one lesson in science per day. If we aren't able to get finished with as much as I expect, on my homepage where I have the week at a glance, I would update that the day of, like usually after the first class. If the first class doesn't get to it, the second class is definitely not going to. So I have an expectation at the beginning of the day, and then I'll edit it before the end of the day with the correct expectation.
I'm more quick to get it changed on that homepage too than I am in the Canvas assignments individually. Because the kids look every single class period at that agenda slide to see what are we doing for today? What do I need to write in my agenda? So I change it there first. And then when I have time, I go back and change it in Canvas.
Okay, so the class page is the best place to look if I'm.
Yeah, so when you open.
Confirm the information that my son is relaying to me is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you open the home pages, there's the slides that show like what they did in class. That is the most accurate place to look.
Okay.
And that's what should be written in the agenda too. He has an agenda from the school that should be written inside of his agenda.
Yeah, and he's been doing that. I was confused the first week thinking like if it was written in the agenda, that meant he had to do it or finish it that day. And we clarified that was not the case. So thank you.
Yeah.
On my homepage, you have to like slide the page down a little bit to get to that agenda slide, but it is on that homepage.
Hey, this is Aubrey's family. Sorry, we're late to the game. There's a lot going on this evening.
That's okay.
I didn't know if this was just kind of a meet and greet setup or a Q&A type situation, or just...
It's whatever you want. We can introduce ourselves again. I'm Miss French, and I am her STEM teacher.
He already had me.
I'm Jason Ross, and I have Aubrey for social studies.
Awesome.
Mr. Penrose, I have her for science.
Great.
I'm Megan Vogel. I have her for algebra.
Well, it is just nice to put some faces with the names I hear all about. Hi, Miss Ridgway. How are you doing?
Hi. Sorry, I let my dog out.
I should probably let mine out too. Very good. And so they're all with their pre-eng student like cohort, except for their, I guess, elective year, right? They're rotating around a lot more.
Yeah, but they have a new grouping of students. So the same students she was with last year is not necessarily, and I think there's even two different groupings also within like their regular cohort too. So that's more faces for them.
And then their electives. So she has like Mr. Sprinkle and Mr. Drake. It might be with pre-eng kids, but the other ones are fully mixed.
Okay. Good to know.
I will tell you, if there's anything you are worried about missing, we're going to post this video on the YouTube channel. So
okay. No, that sounds great. I honestly just kind of wanted to put some faces with all the names I hear some good things about. I'm being told to stop talking. So.
Mom.
Does she want to come say hi to us?
Aubrey is great.
No, that sent her across the house.
I'll embarrass her even more. This is her dad.
Hi, Dad.
Very good.
She just went upstairs. So.
Well, thank you all for everything you do. I know it's definitely still not been a normal year. So.
Yeah.
That's right.
Very nice.
I just love that we've got to like meet them from the beginning and be in person with them from the beginning. Like,
absolutely. absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, very good. Well, I am sure I know how to reach all of you all, and thank you all again for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping in.
No problem.